Tell Sergeant Stone to take that to engineering.
Yes, sir. Man, I've been on this base for nearly 5 months, and I ain't ever seen Captain Morley smile yet.
Why should he smile at you? Who are you? I'll tell you why Morley never smiled. Had Sergeant Titus, incurable disease.
What?
Sergeant, man, sergeant.
You mean he used to be a sergeant?
Yeah, once a sergeant, always a sergeant.
Is that so? Now, you guys get your butts under that ship. And lay off Morley.
The 105 goes into phase 6 next week.
Yeah, I sure would love to fly that bird.
You and every pilot on this base.
Oh, hi, Steve.
Andy, Corey.
I think I'll write a book. The exciting and daring life of a test pilot instructor. You like it?
Well, you can give these sleeping pill people some competition. And it wouldn't be habit for me either.
How about that, Steve? The wit has spoken.
It's very funny.
That's what I like about you, Steve. You have such a sense of humor.
Exactly 2 hours and 10 minutes from now, we'll meet the incoming Daltons.
6 months of them.
There's always that $50,000 a year job on the outside.
It's the first time I ever reported in and found my name printed on something besides orders.
They want us to feel at home, Murph.
We only feel at home up there, eh, Tiger?
You said it. The trouble with schools, too much bookwork. Not enough flying time.
I'm gonna go get some coffee.
So help me, Sammy, that kid of mine had to go on the hour, by the hour.
Yeah, that traveling across country is no fun, I know.
One time I had to chase him halfway across the desert. He was looking for Indians.
My boy actually found them. We pulled into a gas station in New Mexico, and when I got back to the car, he had 2 Indian boys in the back seat. He was going to take them with us.
You got a light?
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Right.
Cotton boy, these women nowadays think you take them out more than once, you're going to marry them.
Yeah, I guess some of them are kind of possessive.
You got to stay 3 steps ahead of them, then nail you every time.
Major, you really know your women, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I had my moments.
I didn't know they allowed civilians in the school.
The aircraft plants send their pilots here. Do you know that Weber used to be a Luftwaffe pilot?
Yeah, some of the boys were talking about him last night. He's supposed to be pretty good. A lot of flying time.
Yeah, and all against us.
Yep.
What did you fly in the Luftwaffe?
Fighters.
Well, how do you compare, say, your ME-109 to the P-47?
That's easy. You had too many.
Gentlemen, will you follow me, please?
Women working here. 1,526 cars.
How does it feel to be an American citizen, Kirk?
Oh, very good.
Hi, Steve.
Green eyes.
Oh, not again, Steve.
I never give up. I have a hunch this one will do it.
You're just like a little boy. You get your hopes up, and then when it doesn't happen, you fret and suffer.
I'm not an instructor. I'm a pilot.
And what makes you think instructors are so unimportant?
I don't say that. Guys like Andy, Corey, they're the instructor type.
How are they so different from you?
Now, look, in a ball game, you have players and coaches. I'm a player, not a coach.
I know, but a coach is as important as a player, sometimes more important.
Andy and Corey are contented. They're married. They have families, kids.
So could you, Steve.
You see that the old man gets that, huh?
Yes, sir.
With the tremendous strides made in the performance and complexity of today's modern aircraft, has risen the need for a brand new type of test pilot, the pilot engineer. The test flying of aircraft today calls for more than pilots of unusual flying ability. It requires strong engineering background as well. To fill the need for pilots with a sound understanding of the technical problems involved in the evaluation of modern aircraft, the United States Air Force Experimental Flight Test Pilot School was formed. The purpose of this school is to produce men who are a match for the aircraft they fly. They must be adept at engineering evaluation as well as flight test techniques. You have entered the school as qualified pilots. With a little sweat, you'll leave it as pilot engineers. Good luck, gentlemen.
Change. At ease. Come in.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I wonder if you know where Robert might be.
He hasn't come in yet.
I know we've seen each other around, but I don't think we've actually met. My name is Kurt Weber. Under God, the people rule.
That's my state's motto.
You should be very proud of your state, Lieutenant. Very proud.
I am.
Hey, Jimmy. How does it look? This is one real tough tiger. Great, huh?
Yeah, real great.
Something wrong, Jimmy?
No.
I tell you what I'll do. You help me over the rough edges of the bookwork, and I'll help you get checked out with these jets.
It's a deal.
Tiger?
Tiger.
With you and Kurt help me with the bookwork.
Is he helping you too?
Sure. What's wrong with that? I'm gonna help him too. What's the beef between you and Kurt? I said what?
I don't like him.
Why?
I've got my reasons.
Jimmy, you're too nice of a guy to hold grudges. Hey, Tiger.
Haven't I seen you?
No, Major Garin, you haven't.
Oh, you know my name.
You'd be surprised how many people know about you.
Really? Strange. I've only been here 2 days.
Things get around.
Young lady, where do you get your information?
From a girl that a certain major took out last night. And she tells me everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Everything.
You didn't know you had a lover in your class, did you, Steve? Oh, don't forget I'll be at that meeting tonight.
Oh, I'll be there. You make sure Lady Blotcher finds another ride. She doesn't shut her mouth from the time she gets in the car till she gets home.
Oh, Steve, you shouldn't talk about Andy's mother-in-law that way. She can't help it if she's lonely.
Lonely? She won't be lonely unless she loses her vocal cord.
Another bourbon, Sam.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Sam, where's all the action on this base?
Major, the only action on this base is diaper changing and babysitting.
Whereabouts do all these little civil service girls hang out?
Oh, mostly over at the civilian club. But you can run across them at the Desert Inn. Them's mostly the leftovers, though.
That bad, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Sam.
That's Eddie.
Eddie, how come so many jalopies in this base?
The Model A Club.
What's that?
Well, the pilot's using, one of them past and future things. Captain Morley even bought himself one of those good-looking wrecks.
The budget's been cut again, huh?
Well, most of the pilots have second cars.
Yeah, I can see myself with some sharp chick in a Model A, huh?
You don't need to worry about that, Major. Them old crows around here look just perfect in them.
Come on, let's go to the Desert Inn. Keep it up. See you, Sam.
Yeah, Eddie.
Be good.
Eddie. Oh, Captain Morley.
Eddie?
Usual poison?
Right. Only put a little arsenic in it for a change.
What's the new class look like, Captain?
Oh, just like the others.
Yeah, several of them just left, I'll guarantee you that Major don't climb trees when he takes out a woman. He is a lover if I ever seen one.
You really think so?
I don't think so, Captain. I know so. And I'm going to watch mine real close.
I didn't know you had a girl, Eddie.
I don't.
Well, I thought you said you were going to watch yours real close.
Captain, I have a whole slew of them I'm going to watch real close.
And you call the Major a lover? Hello, Andy.
Hi, Steve. Make mine a bourbon, Eddie.
Yes.
Susan at the meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Connie is too.
Suppose your mother-in-law's going to be there?
Well, that goes without saying. Mother-in-laws. You try and be nice to them and they get suspicious. You yell at them and you don't love their daughter.
I thought she was supposed to leave last month.
She'll be here as long as the Air Force is. Take a tip, Steve, and never get married. Fighting one woman isn't too bad. But when they all gang up on you, brother.
Sir, if you're looking for a way to get rid of your mother-in-law, I have the answer.
Yeah, how's that, Eddie?
Well, of course, you have to have strong willpower, otherwise it won't work. But if you can take it, all you have to do is be real nice to her. Butter her up, like when she yells at you, just smile back at her.
That's gonna get rid of her?
Well, sure. Look, you gotta use psychology. All mother-in-laws love to complain and gripe. If they can't do that, they just ain't happy. And the more they yell and the more you smile, the unhappier they get. So what happens? They move on to where they can complain and gripe. Yeah? Mother-in-laws just ain't happy in a happy home. Believe me, it works every time.
Eddie, you don't know my mother-in-law.
Oh, one of them die-hard types, huh?
I'm afraid so.
Yeah, them kind's always the roughest.
This is time.
Yep.
You take good care of that harem.
Thanks for the advice.
It goes with the drinks.
Steve Morley.
Hmm?
We're not married yet.
What's the matter?
You come right over here and open this door. Thanks, sport.
How'd the meeting go?
Oh, so-so.
Who took old Lady Blotcher home?
The Andersons. What's so funny?
I just think about something.
Airplanes, probably.
No, your mother.
What on earth made you think of my mother?
Guy likes to know a little something about his future mother-in-law, you know?
You're impossible. I think I'll go take my shoes off. What was all this about my mother? Steve, did you hear what I said? I've never known anyone to change moods as fast as you.
Did you give my request to Colonel Spaulding?
Yes, I did.
What'd he say?
Nothing. Those transfers take time.
I know, it's time.
Will you stop sulking? You came in that door a moment ago and you were cheerful and laughing. And look at you now. All because of an old model. Steve, I talked to Mrs. Anderson this afternoon, and she said that Andy said...
I don't care what Andy said.
But Steve...
I don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. Green eyes.
My Steve.
Closing stages of World War II, the Germans came up with the Me-262. Lucky for us, they didn't get these jets into mass production. As most of you know from your first-hand experience in Korea, the Russian MiGs could go into much higher altitudes than our Sabres. Lieutenant Kiley, do you know why we were showing these films?
Show how far we were behind the times, I guess.
You would guess. What about you, Major Garron?
Well, it's obvious. We'd like to be ahead of the game for a change.
That's right. This is why this school is here. This is why you men are here. Only we just don't want to stay ahead of the game, Major Garron. We have to stay ahead of it. If you men can't realize that, you have no business being here. Because in this game, there'll be no comeback for the loser.
Captain Morley's a tough nut. If this is an example, I see what they mean.
Well, if you ask me, I think our instructor goes a little overboard, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Most of you are familiar with the T-33. This is a plane you do a lot of your flying in. Davis. This pertains to you as well. We made slight changes for training purposes to increase the feel of the controls. Note the washers inserted here instead of the springs. Now, in the event the main trim tab should malfunction and run to the full nose down position, the pilot may not have sufficient strength to recover the aircraft from the resulting high-speed dives. So the recommended action is to use the emergency trim tab override switch to reposition the main trim tab. Now, if you follow me. Inside on the left, you'll find the override switch. It's plainly marked. This permits manual operation in case of emergencies. Now, there's an identical switch in the rear cockpit. You have a long haul ahead of you, Murphy, before you can even start thinking about those new birds. Any questions? All right. Report to the altitude chamber at 1400. Bring your masks and helmets.
Okay, fellas, we're now at 43,000 feet. We're going to free fall to 35,000 and then level off. In case any of you gentlemen have never bailed out at this altitude, you will now know how it feels. How do you feel, Captain? I think something went wrong. Think, Captain, think. I got something. What's that? My parachute!
Hey, in 6 months we'll be flying these. We hope. You know something, Jimmy? You worry too much.
Cotton's right, Jimmy. You better start relaxing. You're all tensed up, boy.
I'm relaxed.
Oh, you'll be all right, Jimmy.
All right, gentlemen. Here are the reports in the altitude chamber.
Why don't we gotta do a little flying, Captain Anderson?
Raring to go, eh, Tiger?
Always, Captain, always.
Major, I see the time of your useful consciousness is only 45 seconds. That's 15 seconds below normal. You have a low tolerance.
Yeah, I know.
You want to cut out some of this nightlife. Better take it easy, Mike. Yeah, Mike, I had a friend once.
It's okay, Jimmy. I'll survive.
You better get changed, gentlemen. We have a little more book work.
Well, we're going to do a little flying. You're going to do some flying right now. Right into those books. Those paper monsters and me just don't get along.
Quest denied.
I told you not to get your hopes up, Steve.
Why? Why?
Steve, you're important to the school. Can't you get that through your head?
Important to whom? Ask anybody what they think of a teacher. Go on, ask them.
Steve.
Leave me alone, Susan.
Recognition is something all dedicated men need, but that recognition can show itself in many ways.
Oh, get off the soapbox.
The trouble with you is you're obsessed to the point of frustration. You're going to destroy yourself, Steve.
Leave me alone, Susan.
Steve, I think it's best if we don't see each other, at least until you've straightened yourself out. I've tried to help you. The only help you need now is from within yourself. You're not being fair to yourself or your students. Or to me.
Just demonstrated the stall warning. Now give me a full stall. off 500 feet. The difference could cost you your life as well as ruin the project you might be working on.
They don't need pilots in this class. They need robots. And Morley's one of them.
Captain Morley is also one of the best pilots on this base.
Hey, Cotton, how did you do in the stall? 500 off. Very good. Don't let Morley hear you say that.
500 off and he's knocking it?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. Well, let's see what our friend has to say when old Murph gets done with him.
The old tiger really roared today. I hope I make the stall.
Just do what I told you. No sweat.
Okay, Tiger. The old tiger won't roar when he tangles with Morley. Come on.
You mark my words, Cotton. My day in Morley comes soon.
Let's see what our friend will say when old Murph gets done with him, huh?
My day will come, don't you worry. Old Murph isn't going to be treated like some cadet.
Yeah, your day's coming, all right.
Yeah, you're darn right my day's coming. Ouch!
Oh. Hey, why don't you try without the stogie, huh?
What for?
So you can see through the smoke.
What smoke screen?
The takeoff fuel flow means the fuel flows through the main pump to the burner ring. The emergency pump output is bypassed. But I just can't get the rest of it.
The main fuel pressure switch is energized as a safeguard against complete main pump failure. Here, let me show you. Well, I think you have it now, Robert.
Just a minute, Kurt. I think we should iron something out right now. Jimmy, there's no reason why you should avoid Kurt like you do.
No reason, huh?
I'll be going. No, you two are my best friends. I like everybody to be happy. Now, what is it, Jimmy? Why don't you like Kurt?
You want me to tell you why? You used to fly fighters, didn't you?
Yes.
I had a brother. He was a bombardier. He flew B-17s. Ever encounter any B-17s?
Yes, many.
My brother's still over there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're sorry.
Jimmy, you owe Kurt an apology.
I owe Weber nothing.
He doesn't deserve what he took from you.
My brother didn't deserve to get it the way he got it, either.
Jimmy, I consider the both of you my friends.
Well, make your choice, Bob. This isn't right, Bob. You can fly circles around all of them.
It takes a lot more than just flying.
Well, if Morley had only given you a little more time, I could have brought you around. The books aren't that tough. They're just not that tough, Tiger.
Maybe not for you, Jimmy. But for me, they were. I just couldn't cut it. Don't worry about me, Jimmy. I'll do all right. The old tiger will roar again. Jimmy, I wish you and Kurt would straighten things out.
Oh, Bob, his kind I can do without.
Look, I know how you idolize your brother. But you must remember the bombers he flew brought death to a lot of Germans. Kurt's mother and father were killed in an air raid. He doesn't hold that against you. I was just about to ask for a transfer anyhow. The old tiger was getting a little rusty. Goodbye, Robert.
Kurt, remember what I showed you on those clients, huh?
I will.
Well, so long, fellas.
Take it easy, Tiger, huh?
See you next.
A lot of guys got it, Jimmy. That's the ugly part of war. We can't keep fighting old wars forever. How about that, Cotton, huh?
Mike's right, Jimmy.
You know, Cotton's grandfather was killed in the Civil War. You don't see him still holding a grudge.
Hey, if your Yankees win ahead, submit.
Cotton, you're supposed to be helping, huh? Hey, Sam.
Major, the name is Eddie.
Yeah, okay, Sam. Set the boys up, huh?
Tiger told me about your mother and father being killed in an air raid.
Yes. In air raids, Jimmy, all kinds of people die.
I'm sorry.
Wow. Say, she's right in the right places, huh?
Yeah. How'd you like to put that through phase 5?
Yeah, I guess so.
You guess so? Cotton, boy, I can see you're never going to be a lover. Gentlemen, excuse me.
Hey, where are you going?
Over to his right, in the right place.
When Major Garrett goes into action, it's time for the women to get off the streets.
Hello.
Hello, Major Garrett.
You know my name. Don't you think I should know yours?
Susan.
Susan what?
Susan Blair.
Susan Blair. Well, that's a pretty name. Where are you from, Susan?
LaPorte.
LaPorte? LaPorte where?
LaPorte, Indiana.
Oh, that LaPorte, yeah. What town is that near?
You're not very original, are you, Major?
Well, I guess I'll have to switch my attack.
Of which you have many, I presume.
Oh, yeah.
Any defeats?
Oh, a few minor setbacks. Looking for someone?
Yes.
Your husband?
No.
Oh, you're not married?
No.
Well, there isn't anything to think about then, is there?
I always think things out, Major.
Well, the thinking woman's a dangerous one.
You mean as far as you're concerned, don't you?
Yeah. Say, how long have you been away from Indiana?
Long enough.
Tell me something. Why isn't a pretty girl like you married?
As soon as a certain person straightens himself out, I intend to.
Oh, and where is that certain person tonight?
On duty.
I see. You come here when he's on duty.
I came with friends, Major.
Friends? What?
Colonel Spaulding and his wife. There they are now.
Yeah, and another thing that gets me is how the pedestrians in California can take their own sweet time in crossing the streets.
Yeah. Well, back in Brooklyn, when a pedestrian gets hit, it doesn't matter because there's a rubber stamp on a bumper that says, destroyed in Brooklyn.
Pretty cute, Sam.
Yeah, no, Sam. Eddie. The Sam.
Blast off, blast off, blast off, blast off. Man of the Jet Command. Sound off, sound off, sound off, sound off. To the song of the Jet Command. Our enemies are scared on every foreign shore. They know they're gonna get it if they ever start a war.
Well, we can take a bomb and look at any map, and brother, we can drop it in the cotton picking lap.
Blast off, blast off, blast off, blast off. Man of the Jet Command. Hats off, hats off, hats off, hats off. To the song of the Jet Command. Our women yak and yak, and we are on the ground. But up there in the stratosphere, we're faster than the sound.
We kiss them in New York and hug them in L.A. But when they get the message, we're 1,000 miles away.
Blast off, blast off, blast off, blast off. Man of the Jet Command. Sound off, sound off, sound off, sound off. To the song of the Jet Command. Blast off, 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 blast off. All right, blast off.
Well, okay.
Here we are, safe and sound, just like I promised.
I had a wonderful time, Major.
Listen, don't you think you ought to call me Mike? Majors do have first names, you know.
All right. I had a wonderful time, Mike.
Aren't you glad you went dancing with me rather than going home with your friends?
I didn't realize they had such a good orchestra at the Desert Villa.
Oh, you should get out more often.
Steve doesn't like dancing.
Yeah, if you ask me, there's not much of anything he does like.
Major,
Mike.
Mike, why don't the men like Steve?
Listen, I thought we weren't going to talk about him anymore.
Okay, okay.
Allow me.
I'm the thinking type, remember?
Not even a cup of coffee?
It's getting late.
Well, I drink coffee awful fast.
It's that one cup of coffee that makes me think. And I'm thinking right now.
Well, that should be good, and, that could be bad.
Well, let's say it's good for me and bad for you.
You know, I'm beginning to think you don't trust me.
Can you blame me?
No.
Well, then, shall we say good night?
Good night.
Good night.
Not even half a cup of coffee.
Your fangs are showing, Major.
Mike.
Good night, Mike.
Well, live and learn Garen, they call me.
You've been listening to Music for Romance. This is the Voice of the Valley, 1490 on your radio dial. Going to the club with the Spauldings, huh?
I did, Steve.
Since when did the Spauldings drive a Thunderbird?
Steve.
How long was he here?
He didn't come in.
How long was he here?
Steve, you're making something out of nothing.
I just saw him leave.
I said he didn't come into this house.
Since when did you start changing so quick?
Get out. Get out of the house.
Characteristics of the airplane in a dive. We start into a dive at some altitude above 20,000 feet. Our problem is to start our pull from the dive in such a manner that the bottom of our dive is at 20,000 feet, and we have a 375 knots indicated airspeed. We want the load on the airplane to be 5 Gs or better.
The old man wants to see you.
Carry on.
The subject is a highly technical one. Sex. Of course, this will only concern the bachelors in the class. Now, our purpose is to investigate the characteristics of the 44D. Concealed weapons. And since we're discussing the 44D, which has been modified by ironclad supports, the problem is various kinds of takeoffs. Now, first we will discuss the direct and the indirect method. Now, in the direct method, the problem is...
Please continue, Captain Murphy. All classes have their class comic, Captain Murphy. Are you the comic of this class?
I get a few laughs once in a while.
Then by all means, continue, Captain Murphy. Get your few laughs. The school can wait. You men are supposed to be qualified pilots. The finest the Air Force has to offer. It's costing Uncle Sam a fortune to put each one of you through this school. You're getting the best. And in turn, we expect your best. But what do we get? A class comic and a bunch of... From here on, I'm going to get your best. Otherwise, you won't be around for the finish. Our problem is to achieve this 5G load under these two conditions. You want the G needle of the meter pointing to 5 or better, but never exceeding 7 Gs. Otherwise, you might have a structural damage. All right, comedians. I'll see you this afternoon in the air.
You have to realize these men aren't GIs.
I realize that.
Do you, Steve? Everyone in that class hates your guts.
So what?
So what? Steve, the men are griping.
It's healthy.
No one means anything to you except yourself. I'm sorry, Steve.
Andy's right, Steve. You'd better loosen up, or you won't be any good to yourself. Or the Air Force.
I'd like to see the colonel.
I'll see you in a moment. I'm going to the meeting tonight. I also have a way home with a very charming man. Yes, sir. The colonel will see you now.
You've made your point. In fact, you're the best needler I've met. Ever.
Sit down, Steve. Now, what is it you want?
Sir, I want to transfer.
Sorry, I can't let you do that.
Why not, sir?
You're one of the best instructors we have.
I don't want to be an instructor. I'm sick and tired of playing nursemaid to a bunch of glory jockeys.
Nursemaid to a bunch of glory jockeys? Is that what you think of your students?
I'm just not cut out for this kind of work, sir. All you have to do is say the word, and you can get another instructor just like that.
No, it's not that easy.
When this class graduates, You can take your choice. That's what happened to me 2 years ago. You pulled me out of class. Why can't you do it again?
Your requests for transfer were turned down at headquarters. They feel that your knowledge can best be applied here at the school.
Sir, no man in this world is indispensable.
I'm aware of that. And I'm also aware that experimental airplanes and their prototypes need competent test pilots. Now, those men have got to come from somewhere. And that somewhere is here at this school. It takes good pilots to train these men. There isn't one of our instructors that wouldn't make a first-rate test pilot.
In that case, sir, as soon as the class graduates, I'm resigning from the service.
Steve, you don't mean that.
I'm sorry, sir, but I do.
All right. If that's the way you want it?
It's the way I want it.
Sit down.
And Susan, another thing. Don't trust that Mrs. Greer. She's nothing but a gossip. Why, do you know that just last week I heard her go on about...
Mrs. Blotcher and Susan, would you two young ladies care for a drink?
Oh, Susan. Major Guerin's a great improvement over...
Mrs. Blotcher, Mike is waiting.
Oh, yes. I'll have a glass of ginger ale with a double shot of vodka.
Tom Collins.
Oh, and Major, say hello to little Eddie for me. He's the bartender. Susan, tell me, what happened between you and Steve?
Oh, we just had a little misunderstanding.
No, I knew it was coming. Just like I told Mrs. Harper. I mean,
Just what did you tell Mrs. Harper?
Well, we were talking the other day. You know how women will talk. And she told me that Mrs. Dexter told her that Captain Morley was losing every friend he had. So I told her what Mrs. Harper told me, what my daughter told me.
And just what did Connie tell you?
Well, she said that Corey told her that Steve was cracking up. So Oh, did you tell little Eddie hello for me?
Oh, yes, he sends his kindest regards.
Oh, excuse me. I must go in and talk to little Eddie. I think he's such a cute little fellow.
Oh, does that woman ever stop talking? No, I'd hate to have her phone bill. Well, why the long face?
I've just been thinking.
You're the most thinkingest woman I've ever met. Morley, eh?
Yes.
But when you carry a torch, you really carry it.
Steve is a real great guy, Mike.
Well, that's debatable.
What do you and the others hold against him? Why does everyone dislike him? Why, Mike?
Well, we don't necessarily dislike him. It's just that we don't like his methods.
Would you like to be an instructor?
Who, me? An instructor? Not old Mike Garrett.
Well, Steve doesn't want to be one either.
Well, why doesn't he request a transfer?
He has. 8 times. For 2 years, he's been trying to get into flight operations.
Well, I don't understand that. As far as his flying goes, they don't come any better.
That's it. He's important to the school. But how would you like to train men for a job that you wanted to hold yourself?
You've really got it bad, kid.
I wish everyone knew Steve like I know him.
Well, Steve's a mighty lucky guy to have a girl like you.
Eddie, there's a long list of sergeants to come out of the Blotcher family. Now, back in the Civil War, there was Arnold S. Blotcher. He was a sergeant in the Union Army. And in the First World War, of course, these wars are a little ahead of your time. The sergeants in those days were a lot different than the sergeants today.
Eddie.
Let's see now, where was I? Oh, yes. In the First World War, there was Arnold Blotcher.
Eddie.
Eddie. That officer wants you. Oh, I must call my daughter, but don't worry. I'll be back.
Eddie, I'd like... One for the road, Eddie.
Yes, sir. Oh, if you only knew what I was thinking when I picked you up tonight.
Oh, I can tell you right now, Mike, it wouldn't have done you any good. Even if there had been no Steve.
Oh, well, I always like a woman that stops you before you get started. Suspense killers, I call them.
Come in. Yes, Garen?
I'd like to talk to you, Morley.
You can wait till tomorrow.
Well, it doesn't concern the school.
Just what does it concern?
Susan Blair.
Miss Blair is none of my concern.
Oh, I think she is, Morley.
But if you're finished, Garen, I still have some typing to do.
I had a long talk with Susan tonight.
I can imagine what kind of talk.
Well, you must be blind. The only two things that ever meant anything to you were Susan and the servers. You go ahead. Throw them both away.
Captain Murphy, you were up there to work out a problem, not to play games. There's no excuse for your actions. Absolutely none. Buzzing is something that we do not tolerate, and you know that. I have no alternative other than to drop you from this school.
Well, fellas, let this be a lesson on what not to do.
I try to warn you.
I know. Take it easy, Major.
Murph.
Cotton Boy. Kurt. Jimmy.
Good luck. Luke and Morley, get.
Oh, forget it.
But how can you let a guy like...
Forget it! If you guys ever get to Siberia, don't forget to look me up.
Hey.
So long, Murph.
Good morning.
Because you can't cut it, you sure want to make it tough on the other guy. You're a good flyer, but that's about all.
Finished, Major Garen?
Good morning, Mike.
Morning, Susan.
What a grouchy good morning.
Need I say more?
Oh, Mike, you surely...
Found it on Steve's desk. Must be in a pretty bad frame of mind to do something like this. He lives the Air Force, Susan. Without it, all the money in the world couldn't replace it. Not to Steve, anyway.
Corey, do you know how the front office found out about Murphy?
Well, sure. The men on the tower reported him. Why?
I just wanted to know.
Progress. Rosamond Dry Lake. Remain well clear.
I repeat, spin test in progress. Rosamond Dry Lake. Remain well clear.
Kurt, let's enter the spin at 30,000. Don't start your recovery until I tell you.
Roger.
We're not under control. 15,000 below the canopy.
Roger.
At 10,000, jump at my command. Still look bad. Okay, any questions?
Okay, Kurt. Now throw in front.
This is Edwards Tower. Do you read?
It's Morley and Guerin. Their plane went out of control over Rosamond Dry Lake.
Everything okay, Captain?
Yeah.
What'd you do, stall out?
Yeah. You sure had us worried, Captain.
I was a little worried myself, Eddie.
Could use a little shot?
You bet.
Hey, well, what is... How do you figure a guy like Morley?
I don't know. I've given up trying.
I guess you know you just did something pretty wonderful.
Forget it.
I won't forget it. And neither will the others.
Susan, I have some work to do. Well, that's the letter I've been looking for.
Is it, Steve? Running away isn't the answer. The Air Force will always be a part of you.
This is for me to decide, Susan, not other people.
I agree, but other people concede. And they saw you save a man's life this afternoon. And that's something to be pretty darn proud of. Look at them. Those are some of the best test pilots. They were also students at one time, Steve, your students. It was you who made them what they are. You, Anderson, and Dexter. And that's something else to be pretty proud of.
You men have 5 more days till graduation. But you're not there yet. By the looks of these test papers... Well, why whisper, gentlemen? If what you have to say is so important, stand up and say it.
Okay, Morley. We've had just about enough of your lip. And furthermore, we're sick and tired of your preaching.
And that goes for all of us. You've been asking for this a long time.
What is this?
Morley. You'll find out, Buster. Let's get him.
Come on!
You'll find him.
Attention! Beer and chips for everyone. You too, Sam. Captain.
Okay, everybody, knock it off now. Listen. A toast. A toast to Captain Steve Morley. Because he's the meanest, toughest, roughest instructor in the whole Air Force. And every time we're up there, part of Steve Morley will be with us.
For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny, which nobody can deny.